Hey y'all, I recently filmed a video on a channel called Talkin Tunes with Dr. Tony, and we discussed Uncle Meat for quite a while. So if you're interested in three people's discussion of Uncle Meat, my favorite Frank Zappa album, not necessarily the other two people's, I will put the links in the description of this video. Head over to his channel and check it out. On to the Kinks. What's up, people? I'm Shaggy, the striped hippie, and today I'm going to be talking about my top 10 Kinks songs. And I've said this several times on this channel before. I promise I will never say it again, but this was by far the hardest top 10 list I've ever had to do in my life, that I've forced myself to do in my life, that I imagine I will ever do in my life. I cannot imagine a harder top 10 list than this. Even Dylan, which was pretty challenging, was easier than this, I thought. And I'm only considering the studio album songs. I'm not considering anything that is on like a bonus track on a CD, which was originally a single or a B-side of a single or something else. Not including any of those things. There's going to be a separate video because, like Pavement, the stuff not on the albums is maybe as good, if not better, than the stuff on the albums. That's how deep the Kinks catalog is. I also realized something else about this list, which after I get to number one, I will share with you. So if you make it to number one, there's another little, I'm going to call it a surprise. I'm just going to go through the list of songs, talk about each one briefly. Then for all you visual learners out there, I will slap the list up there on the screen for you to look at so you can see it with your eyes. This was a tough list, people, but it's only the studio album songs, nothing that was a B-side. So if you're like, hey, why isn't that on here? It's because it wasn't on a studio album, but I'm going to make a list of those and then you can see why it's on another list. You know, that song we're all talking about? Yeah, that one. Also, nothing from a live album, because if I included live albums, there would be a song that is on here that is not, that I don't like the studio. I like the studio version of, but not as much as the live version. So I might do a live, I don't know. Who knows? Let's get on to this. My top 10 Kinks studio album songs. Number 10, Situation Vacant. The situation vacant. I can't say that word for some reason. The last track on side A of Something Else. Nice little piano driven rocker. The story about Johnny and Susie get married. Mother-in-law, she's a little too ambitious. Johnny's got to leave his job, find another job. Things don't turn out so well. The last little couplet. Beautiful Ray Davies writing where Johnny, things aren't going so well. Susie's living at home. Things aren't going so well in the relationship. It's not a happy song. Nice little piano coda fake ending at the end. Just a really nice, upbeat. Again, it's Ray Davies doing what Ray Davies does. Writing this, man, do upbeat little song that you want to sing along to, and then you actually pay attention to the words and you're like, oh, this is effed up, man. This ain't a very happy song. So yeah, Situation Vacant, my number 10. Number 9, Brainwashed off Arthur. Nice little hard rocker, really good opening riff, just a dun, 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 just nice heavy guitar part, nice little change in the middle, sort of a pseudo King Crimson where things all of a sudden are like dun-dun, 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 things get fast and a little crazy and some chorded rock comes in there. Yeah, but again, some great lines, great use of the horns, some good lyrics, just a nice little, very taut, tight, short, little effective rocker right in the middle of side A of that Arthur album. Fantastic album. Number 8, the opening track off off Muswell Hillbillies, 20th Century Man. Everything about this is one of the things I think the Kinks do so well. They got some opening acoustic guitar, and then some more guitar comes in, like Dave joins sort of the fray, and you got like whatever's happening on the main acoustic, then you have sort of a different melody on like a different acoustic, and then you get some electric that comes in at one point that kind of sends things off on a different direction. You have a nice sort of start-stop kind of jam verse towards the end. This originally, I was kind of hesitant to put this on the list because it's just another one of those that I think is just so great, opens up the album so well. It's just like, seems like, yes, this is obviously a fantastic song. But then I was listening to One for the Road, the live album, and I really think the live version of this song just doesn't hold up as well. I think they've like captured lightning in a bottle with this studio track. So I again went back and listened to this to compare the two. And I was like, man, this is so good, especially just the way it starts off with that acoustic guitar, just that dun dun, just it's like it's forceful but not aggressive. It's just got this really nice, determined energy about it. And the lyrics just about, the troubles of being a 20th century man and how frustrating that is, and all the just complexities and complications of the modern world. Ray nails it on this one. It's a great way to open up that album. It's a great song, absolutely fantastic. Number 7 off Face to Face, Rainy Day in June. Nice little weird kind of prog, kind of trippy. The lyrics are a little bit out there for especially for a Kinks song. We have some references to like some sort of sci-fi elements that come in here, like things buried in their tomb, and like eagles coming out and like a misty shadow. We get a demon stretching its crinkling hand and snatching a butterfly. We get elves and gnomes. We get the whole like prog rock fantasy world in this neat little song. But I don't know, it just still sounds like of this earth, and there's still something so just Ray Davies Kinks about it, despite the fact that the lyrics are like touching these weird, what you would traditionally find in more like heavy metal and prog rock type things. But it's about the rain. It's about a rainy day in June, and the music kind of feels like a rainy day in June. Like here, where I'm from in California, it's not supposed to rain in June. In fact, it hardly ever rains. So a rainy day in June felt particularly somber and depressing. And the music isn't necessarily that, but it definitely has a darker undertone, a little more like kind of just creepy in a prog way. Just a really, really neat, unique song on an album, Face to Face, which has so many different flavors to choose from. It's almost like a basket, a 31 flavors, Baskin Robbins. They have that everywhere, like that ice cream store. It really is. You get a sampling of so many like mid to late 60s musical motifs and pastiches and vibes on that album. And this is one of the darker, more kind of mysterious ones. Great song. Number 6, the opening track to Percy, God's Children. If you were to write music that God would say, this sounds like good music for my children, I think God would pick this music. It is just so sweet and delicate. And Ray, again, is commenting on like modern life and sort of kind of almost an anti-technology stance. I don't want to say anti-science, maybe an anti-technology stance. Like, hey, we are humans. Don't mess up this human form with your technology. Let us be humans and make our way through life as humans. So there's this weird anti-20th century progress stance in here, but it's done in such a beautifully Ray Davies sort of way, and embracing of humanity, and again, positivity of the people type thing. Just a very incredibly sweet, delicate, it's like almost perfect song opening up Percy. Number 5, Sunny Afternoon. Another one of those, just Ray's lyrics at his best. The music has just like dun 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 dun. You just kind of feel like you're walking on a sunny afternoon. It's kind of jaunty, please me. You get this on a sunny afternoon in the summertime. Like everything about this is almost Beach Boysy and breezy. But then when you actually listen to the lyrics, you're like, oh, yeah, this guy's life sucks. Like there's nothing sunny about his life, and he's having to like go through these experiences on like a beautiful sunny afternoon day. It's Ray taking lyrics that are not upbeat and optimistic and are kind of depressing, and do a really good job of conveying like real world working class struggles, especially 20th century ones, and just wrapping it in this music that is catchy and hook filled and filled with melodies and just so perfectly constructed. Like he does more in 3 minutes than most songwriters do in 10. Just absolutely fantastic. And again, this is another one of those songs. I'm like, yeah, Sunny Afternoon is a great song. Is it really one of my favorites? But every time it comes on, I gotta make it through all the way because it's just such a perfect song. Number 4, a song I originally heard from Van Halen. I grew up in LA. I know all the Van Halen stuff. Um, and then I heard it on the Kinks One for the Road live album. Eventually, I got around to hear the original version. Where Have All the Good Times Gone? Again, fantastic lyrics. Ray being Ray. I mean, when is this? Like 65, right? Early 60s, mid 60s. And we got a line about mama and all her toys, or mama doesn't need, her daddy doesn't need his toys, and mama doesn't need her boys. I mean, that's a line being delivered in like the mid 60s, man. Like, of course, when Van Halen heard that, they're like, oh, yeah, we're going to sing this because this is a great line. What is the line? Daddy didn't need no little toys. Mama didn't need no little boys. Where have all the good times gone? I like, what is that? What is he talking about? Like it's that ambiguity that he plays with so well. Toys, yeah, just like cars. Boys, he doesn't need her children. There's a way to spin that. But I love everything about this song. Just love the groove, love the verses, love the choruses. Just a nice little sort of mid-tempo rocker that Van Halen did wonderful things with. Yeah. My number 4, Where Have All the Good Times Gone? So tell me, won't you tell me, where have all the good times gone? Number 3, this is another song I did not have this on this list, but it's another one where every time I hear it, I'm like, this is a perfectly constructed song. And again, I was listening to One for the Road. This song is on there, and I'm like, it just doesn't work live. They stretch out the beginning, they stretch out the ending. There's audience participation, kind of just, it loses its tautness and its tightness and its urgency. I'm talking about Lola. Lola. Yeah. One of my favorite songs. It's a perfectly crafted pop song. Just musically, like that opening, the opening chords, the intro, and then the electric guitar, the kind of weirdly sounding electric guitar comes in. You get the sort of the main verse, which we kind of pops up throughout the song, but then we get these sort of middle, I don't know if they're choruses, they're bridges, whatever they are between, which the melody kind of gets a little bit softer and a little more reflective. Then we jump back into that harder groove. The story, which I know we're all familiar with. Ray, apparently it's a true story, goes out to a club, meets Lola. Lola's kind of masculine, deep brown voice, right? Kind of a little forceful. And the last line, like we all know what Ray's talking about, right? It's just, at this point, everybody knows what the song's about, right? He's meeting, Lola. And the last line, I'm glad I'm a man, and so is Lola, right? That's a way you get around the censors in 1970. Wait, Lola's a man, or Lola's glad? Or Lola's glad that you're a man? Because all of those things make sense, right? And it is not, even though we know Lola's a man, right? And we know that's what Ray is talking about, is it? Maybe Lola really has a lot of masculine qualities, and she's glad that he's a man because she wants a man and now she has him, or who knows? But the ambiguity is beautiful. And again, it's a perfect song. Musically, so there's not a wasted second on this. The way it's constructed just propels the urgency toward that last verse. Every line, every sort of group of lyrics builds upon the story and adds little more details that fill you in without sort of repeating any previous ones. And the last line's a doozy. And the only reason it's at number 3 and not at number 1 is because the Kinks wrote more than one perfect song. Like number 2, Dave Davies' Strangers, which I think he co-wrote with Ray, if I'm not mistaken, right? Or did he write? But no, he wrote Death of a Clown with Ray. I think he wrote this by himself. Strangers. Second track off Lola. What a fantastic song. Sort of like, I'm assuming it's about, Ray, strangers on this road we are on. Incredible lyrics. Kind of after the opening kind of hard rocker of the Contenders, this comes in, it's kind of about them. Strangers on this road we are on. It's a very good setup to the rest of the album, where it's like these two brothers forming a band and they're trying to make it in the world and things are difficult, but Dave's like reassuring his brother, like, hey, we're in this together. We're going to share this struggle. Don't worry about it. We're not two, we're one. it's an affirming song. It's beautifully written. The lyrics are fantastic. The music is fantastic. It is just such a powerful, impactful ballad. And it just, that 1-2 punch of Contender Strangers to open up Lola, just like the album can't fail after that. Another perfect song. But again, they wrote more than 2 perfect songs because number one of the greatest pop songs ever written, Waterloo Sunset, the closing track off Something Else. I don't know, what can you say about this song? You just have to go listen to it. That opening riff, the story about Terry and Julie, right? That's who it is. Terry and Julie, the lyrics, Waterloo Sun, the harmonies, the whole idea of this couple meeting every Friday night at Waterloo Station. I went to Waterloo Station the first time I was in London, was there at sunset. It was cloudy and super crowded. It wasn't romantic at all. Yeah, but there were millions of people swarming around like flies, swarming around like flies. That was true. But anyways, yeah, and as long as they gaze on Waterloo Sunset, they are in paradise. Waterloo Sunset's fine. That word, Waterloo Sunset's fine. Because I think what I'm realizing, having gone there, there's kind of nothing special about a Waterloo Sunset, or at least there wasn't when I was there. But like, if you're with the one you love and you're there, and even though there's millions of people there, that's fine. Because all that matters is that you're with whoever that other person is that you want to be with. And like, that is like the heart of the song. It's just like, yeah, man, something so special about this song. Just so beautiful. Such an absolute piece of pop perfection. My number one, Waterloo Sunset. There they all are right there. Like I promised at the beginning of the video, what did I realize? I realized that none of these songs are from after 1971. 20th Century Man being the most recent. Everything else is from the albums before 1971. So, at some point in time, probably tomorrow, I'm going to make a second video and then a third video, because I'm also going to make a video of the non-album tracks, of my top 10 of all the albums after 1971. Because it's kind of unfair to like hold all the rest of those albums and make them like compete against this perfect run that the Kinks had in like the, late second half of the 60s into the 70s. You just can't compete with it. So I'm not going to make those. So they get their own little consolation bracket and we'll rank those songs. But anyways, that's my top 10 right there. That's them on the side, whatever side I'm on. But yeah, listen to those if you don't know them. If there's one you don't know, go check them all out because they're all great. All the albums they're on are fantastic. Like, you can't go wrong with any of these songs. The albums are on, all that stuff. Listen to them. Let me know what your top 10 is. Let me know what song I should check out. All that kind of stuff. You know how these things work, people. Peace. Subscribe. Like. Share. Thanks for watching, y'all. Thanks for watching.